Because the Olympics are going on right now, a particular athlete in women's rugby is getting a lot of attention right now, and her name is Ilona Maher. So it started when this video was posted on Twitter from her TikTok, where she was singing along to an Olivia Rodrigo song. And she was just, having fun, posting something totally harmless and meaningless on TikTok. But when that got posted, most of the comments were essentially saying that she is secretly male. They were all saying that she is a man. One said, "That's a dude." Another one said, "Nothing Brooke Shields about that guy." Another one was saying, I can't find it now, but most of them were basically just saying that Ilona Maher is a dude because she is very tall, very muscular, has a strong jawline, and is just a very masculine looking chick.
She looks like
especially
Brock
because
Lesnar.
of the sport that she plays. In rugby, you have to be.
Yeah.
So.
You want to watch the first clip here? Is this the one? This one?
Well, we can't have it with sound because it's Olivia Rodrigo on the
Okay.
audio. But she was just, having fun dancing on TikTok, and that was the response it got. And after that, Ilona Maher decided to address the allegations, I guess. This is called transvestigation, when people create theories that someone is secretly trans.
Is that this one here?
Yeah, this was actually back in 2022 that she posted this. Thank you.
Thank you. All right.
People are going to be confused when they see this.
Yeah, well, we have tonal issues, as we've discussed on time and time again. The show absolutely has tonal issues. Here we go. Let's listen to her, what she had to say.
This is a super great question, and I'm super happy to answer it. Every day I get called masculine, I get called manly. I get people in my comments asking if I'm a dude just to hurt me. And it wouldn't be honest if I said, it doesn't affect me at all, I'm fine. It does affect me in a way when I read those, because I feel beautiful, I feel feminine in my own way, and then I read these comments of people just really purely to be mean. I'm someone who puts a lot of stock in what other people say, and I care a lot what other people think about me. It's something I'm...
That's actually a brave thing to admit.
It's kind of bold, yeah.
In 2024,
Yeah.
that's a very brave thing. Like, everyone wants to pretend like they don't care what other people think or say. I would argue that most people are coping.
I appreciate the vulnerability.
At least to varying levels, I think they're coping.
Yeah,
There's a $20 one there from Nate. He says, "Got to interrupt, 100 IQ. Pretty sure that's exactly average."
Yeah,
I think
that's
it's
what I
95.
meant. That's exactly what I meant.
trying to get better with, but it's how I am for now. What really annoys me about it is that they're also saying this to other young girls, and they're saying it to other girls who have broad shoulders, muscles, and strong jawlines, and making them feel a certain way and making them question their own beauty and how they perceive themselves. So it doesn't affect me as much because I have been through that as a young girl. People always said those things to me, and it really hurt me as a young girl. But I've slowly gained that confidence to love my body, love who I am, love my broad shoulders, and feel that they're beautiful. And I get to define my own femininity with it. So I'm learning to not care, but I just want all the girls out there to know that you get to feel beautiful in your own way. And people will say a lot of shit because they're insecure just to make you feel that way. And it might make you feel that way, but just remember what your body does for you, how beautiful you are, and you get to define your own femininity, your own masculinity, whatever it is.
Okay, this is a real predicament. This is Schrodinger's feminist. Because the spirit of the age is almost a tacit acknowledgement that trans women are women. Like, there is no distinction, they're women.
From the establishment, yes.
Right. From normie factory settings people and political establishment.
Sure.
Fair? Right. So, this is the admission, almost in a way that, hey, because why are they asking if she's a man? It's, it's the trans discussion. It's the different political ideologies of like how they define a male or a female. And this happens a shit ton in gaming spaces. A bunch. I'm recently getting into Magic the Gathering, and there's this influencer. Her name is Amazonian, I believe, and I think her pin post was about this, but like the complete opposite take. This I found like being like super like transparent and heartfelt and whatever. The other one's like, oh, it doesn't offend me. I don't mind the question, and like I'm not gonna like give it any energy. And then people's like, are you though? She's like, no, like I'm not trans. But it's like
because they don't want to say no, I'm not, and then have to say no, but not that there's anything wrong.
But
with
it's interesting because it's an admission. I feel that it does. Oh my God, I'm just
Would you say it's a tacit admission that there are such a thing as male traits?
That it bothered that in a way the comparison bothers them, and it's not to the point where it's like
yeah, like I saw someone
I'm really trying to play around
some girl posted a video and then had to add a disclaimer afterwards and say, hey, a lot of people for some reason think that I'm trans, but I'm not. And then someone commented like, wow, that's really offensive. And she was like, I wasn't offended at all.
That's what I'm saying.
I wasn't offended. I just needed to clear the record, like just stayed. And it's like, no, like it's okay if you were offended because it would be normal for you to be offended at the idea that you're male, obviously.
Because like, what is the point of the acknowledgement at all? If not?
Yeah, but it's cool that she was vulnerable enough to say that it does bother her instead of acting like she's this, girl boss who doesn't care what anyone says. I think that's more feminine than anything, is like actually being able to show vulnerability like that. And I think a lot of the response to her appearance, claiming that she is male and hiding it, or that she's like secretly trans, a lot of it comes from the current controversies around men competing in women's sports and the space that she's in. Obviously, people are going to be asking questions like that because there is this very justified moral panic about that situation that's happening. So I think that's part of what's happening here. But ironically, it's counterintuitive to the entire argument that men shouldn't compete in women's sports, because you are putting women into a very narrow definition where you have to look a certain way to be female, when you can theoretically achieve those ends by cosmetic surgery and synthetic hormones and how you dress and the makeup you put on. But in reality, none of those cosmetic features are substantive to being a woman. They're all accidental properties that women happen to have.
It also leans into the discussion about, look, being a woman is not inherently just a grab bag of traits. You can be high in some things and low in other things, and there are masculine looking women and there are more feminine looking men, and that's the reality of the world. And that as soon as you try boxing people up into categories like that, that's when you get into movements like that. Her admission that it bothers her was actually really, really refreshing to me. It was.
Yeah,
it really was.
There was another video that she posted more recently addressing all of these claims, where she was like very upset and in tears.
Sorry, also like brief interjection, especially since you're going to talk about like how she was really upset. The dissident right has to, I mean, you could do whatever you want, but I feel that whether she's trans, female, whatever, like this subject, I feel should warrant a lot more sympathy. Because like I feel that, I don't know, like it really is like something happened in the culture where it's like all like fully on the offensive. And if you're like from, I mean, as I am, like from some like slightly like religious like angle, like empathy should be part of a consideration.
Yeah.
Because it becomes a harassment campaign every time. A mean-spirited harassment campaign. And like you can't say that you don't care while also like doing like non-stop like, what are you all? It's like, let it slide off your back at some point, dude.
Should we watch this video?
Yeah, let's take a look at
To
this.
be very real here for a second, as you can probably tell, I've been crying a little bit. I always get these comments, but like recently it kind of ramped up. Was I get comments being called a man and being called masculine and asking if I'm on steroids. There will always be negative people out there, and they put women in a box, and they think of women should be fragile and petite and quiet and meek. But that's not the case. Women can be strong, and they can have broad shoulders, and they can take up space, and they can be big. I think I'm getting emotional because I feel very passionate about this. Don't let anybody try to define or dictate how you feel about yourself. You get to decide that. I'm gonna be very real here.
It's just funny because obviously physically she has a lot of masculine traits, but as soon as you hear her talk and you see her
For a second,
interacting, it's very obvious that she's a woman, and there's sort of a more intangible quality to femininity that goes beyond just how you look. And I remember when we were talking about that like Strong is Beautiful campaign with all of those female rugby players wearing lingerie to promote that brand. They were trying to legitimize their own existence and the way that they look by asserting that, like, I can be sexy too. And, you know, maybe you shouldn't try to seek that kind of validation from being found like sexually attractive by the majority of men, because, you know, clearly you're not, but you're still excelling at what you do, obviously. Like, it's impressive what she does for a living, and that's like something to be celebrated in its own right. And as long as this is what a minority of women are pursuing, why is that a problem? You know, like why would anyone feel threatened by that?
I mean, it's also, she's getting a lot more attention now. So the amount of negative comments she's going to get is going to, you know, grow at a commensurate rate to the attention she's getting. You don't get to grow in popularity and have the negative comments stay at the same amount. It's a lot easier to handle when you're at a moderate level of success. But once you reach that certain point, no human being was designed to read the thoughts of just every person that has a passing idea about them. You're not designed to be constantly flung negative attention all the time. And people who say that they take it perfectly well every time, yes, a small minority might be able to do that. But most people, you know, at the very least, it's going to make you second guess a little bit.
Sure,
it's going to make you a little bit self-conscious.
Everyone wants to be liked.
And it's an important point where you're saying it's a passing comment. Like a lot of people, they're just like negative on the internet. By the way, guilty of like just posting something negative and then completely disregarding the fact that it's another human being on the line. But what I think is what's interesting about this scenario is that her genuineness evokes the spirit of sympathy, empathy, and understanding of her argument completely. And, you know, I feel like our side of the aisle, which is like a conglomeration of a bunch of things, we're typically characterized as being like callous, like we're like anti-women, anti-diversity, anti-whatever. And it's never that. Like I just like want to emphasize for the millionth time, it's the prepackaged corporate, you know, checking a box, stereotyping BS that's become popular culture. It's not, in a way, I feel that is
the dunking on her a political thing?
I think so, because it's like she's being used as a wedge against like the trans people, and like trans is inherently political.
Okay. I mean, that doesn't seem to be what, like, this just
The
seems
last
like
thing you'd wanna
schoolyard
do.
arguments saying that somebody who doesn't look traditionally feminine is a man doesn't. I mean, I understand that the point that you were making, that the injection of trans individuals into sports makes that part of this discussion, but it feels more like what happens when you allow 1,000 schoolyard bullies to yell at you online, and the argument would be made to just don't read the comments. I understand that how can you be cyberbullied, just close the computer. That's the point, right? But not everyone can do that, and that seems to be the result of what's happened here.
I don't know, but she's also an Olympic athlete. who apparently is like performing well. Like to some point, like she's worked to the point where maybe she's interesting to see, like the well-deserved validation that she's gonna get from the internet.
What she should do is just take heed and like just be like, look, I'm better than you at. I could probably beat you up anyways.
Yeah,
That's
but I feel like if she like posted a mirror selfie and captioned it like "F the haters," then I would feel a lot less sympathetic toward her. I appreciate that that's not what she did. I appreciate the approach that she made toward the topic and just admitting that, she struggles to not care what people think of her.
Fake online bravado is amongst the worst.
Truly.
Of the traits. Like
Snark.
It's right down the road from woe is me, which I hate more than any of it. Like love complaining, don't like complaining about your own situation.
You hate woe is me more than snark?
I consider them pretty much at the same level of awful. Yeah.
There was also another video I wanted to show from her TikTok where she was like fantasizing about marrying a random guy that she was in line with.
Hey, I thought only guys did that. I thought only guys went on the subway and fell in love with girls they were next to on the subway.
A man just talked to me. He asked if I could move forward in line because I was holding everyone up. I don't know. I think our wedding colors would be like a forest green or something.
That was like the most endearing thing I've seen.
I know.
Yeah, like she's really cute. I really like her, and that's why people are saying, because there's this appeal to her personality on top of her athletic skill that she could be in the ranks of Caitlin Clark.
She's acting more girly than the average girl acts these days. Like,
seriously,
the most feminine looking girl does not act that girly these days.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.